right. The long-awaited Tricer brand new gear podcast. Actually, it's my buddy Chad RYKER's idea. Chad is my producer for the Tricer podcast, and he also has the Western Hunting podcast and the Backcountry Rookies podcast,
No, just out of state hunter now.
Out of State Hunter podcast.
Yep.
But he's a big podcaster. He's a big deal. And he's like, dude, we've got to do a gear podcast, all this new stuff. And while we're recording this is like day 5 of selling the new bipod on pre-order, and we're selling over 100 a day. So people want to hear about this stuff.
People definitely want to hear about it.
Chad, how are you doing?
I'm doing really, really good. So I texted you that we should do this podcast because one of my buddies was at the house the other day. He just doesn't have a Tricer tripod, and he was checking out the tripod. And then I think it was later that afternoon that you cranked out that video of the bipod where you're just using it, right? You're kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
And I think I reposted it on my Instagram, and it was maybe 30 minutes later, my buddy said, "Hey, I need to pre-order one of those." And it was like right then, and you could just tell that interest was there. And I thought, yeah, we need to do an update because you haven't really ever talked about your gear, right? You don't really go through like a quarterly update. What's new, what's happening, what shows are you going to be at? I don't think you've done that. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think that I get so burnt out, right? Like I'm just like, I like to listen to other people talk. And then I tend not to like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I need to do it. I need to do it because people are asking me left and right, and we do have so much stuff. And on another note on that, like if I did a podcast on all my new gear, like I'd be doing a new podcast every month because we come out with products.
You guys crank it out, man.
We crank out products. I mean, I have 4 more tripods in the works right now on top of the ones that are releasing in May that no one even knows about, right? Like it's just, I'm always designing and developing and putting every penny we have back into making awesome stuff so people can go kill things this fall and shoot things better.
Well, I think so. Just kind of going back, one of the probably most innovative things that I've seen that has come out of Tricer in the last few months has been the 360. You want to talk about the 360? Because I got my hands on one and was really, really impressed, especially with a spotting scope on that thing. So I think you should talk about that, where the idea came from and where it is. Like, just talk about it.
So yeah, the 360's actually been in the field for like 6 months now. Chad has one, I think Cody Nelson has one, Cody Rich has one. Kind of like my inner circle of like gear testers have them, which Chad is in that list. Just guys who I really trust to use it. And I haven't been advertising it because it wasn't, a lot of times I'll be very open with what I'm doing, but this one's kind of more secret because I didn't want to take away from other sales this year, like the JC and stuff. But the 360 is a slick piece of gear. I think it's going to change glassing as we know it. What the 360 is a 6-ounce attachment that attaches to your tripod, and it's Arca Swiss. And you can attach your pan head to the top of it, or you can put it on top of your pan head. Like that's what Cody Rich and Ben Dedamani do Shed Crazy, put on top of their pan head. And you turn this knob.
That's what I do too.
Do you put it on top? So, yep. I'm a bottom guy. So it's either way, top or bottom. I don't care what you do as long as you buy it. But it adds micro panning to any tripod, and 100% it will make you a better glosser. It's going to increase your glossing by 25%. I mean, you're going to see more game guaranteed because it forces you to slow down. And every turn is just like, 4 degrees of panning. So you just turn this thing, you just slowly pan, and it gives you that micro panning rather than pushing it with your hand. It just slowly walks you through. You can add it to any tripod on the market, not just the Tricer JC. So this is patented. It's been in the patent with the JC now, and it is the Tricer 360.
So I think what's really, really cool about it is that it does have the Arca bottom so that it can mount to anything. If you don't have a Tricer head, you got a Suray VA5 or you got something else out there, but you want that really smooth panning capability, you can get that 360 and it mounts right up to that head. You should have a Tricer head. If you don't have one, you should have one, but if you don't, there's an option.
And if you don't, we actually make a new product called the AA as well, which is just an Arca adapter that converts any pan head to Arca Swiss. So if you wanted to run the pan head on top of this, you could get one of our Tricer AAs. I think it's like $25. It threads on the bottom of your VA5, tighten 2 set screws down, and it's locked on. Then you can attach your VA5 to the top of this. The reason I like to run on the bottom is then I don't have to worry about what orientation my tripod, my head's in. If you run on top, you got to kind of make sure you kind of keep it centered, right, as you're going, because it'll, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense, you got to kind of keep it centered. If you're on the bottom, it doesn't matter where you are, you can just rotate your pan head on it. So I like on the bottom, but a lot of guys like it on top. And honestly, if you don't want to have it on your tripod all the time, keep it in your bag. You just attach it when you want to. Like for me, like coos deer hunting, I'm not running a micro pan in the morning because in the morning I'm just going crazy, just
Hmm.
scanning ditches, scanning hillsides, scanning every little crevice I can fast. Trying to get this 360 view. And then when it gets warmer later on, as the deer start bedding down, is when I go to when I go to micro panning and I really start getting slow and I start looking through bushes, right? Because that's really where this thing thrives. Is it helps you, especially with a pair of like NLs or your 50 or 56s or spotting scope. It helps you to look through a bush and just go super slow and look for that ear flick, that tail flick, whatever, the antler tine. Look for, like I tell people when they're glassing, helps you look for the thing that doesn't fit the picture, right?
Yeah. So you mentioned Ben Diamante and you've mentioned Coos deer. Let's. I'm really curious. I'm sure listeners are curious. But what did you guys take with you when you went to Mexico for glassing? Like, what was your tripod setup?
Oh my
I can
gosh.
only imagine what was in the backpacks. But
I put a
it.
video. I put a picture on my Instagram the other day of just like everything. I mean, everything and anything. On that hunt, mostly me personally, I was running the JC
Yeah.
with
With
a
the weights or without the weights?
no weights. I never really run the weights, honestly. If I was gonna run the weights, I would run it with thread tape. But for me, like it's fine without the weights. A lot of guys like them if you're staying by the truck, staying by the side by side. But
Yeah, that's
I
what I
I,
do with mine.
I tend to hike whether I want to or not, and then I don't have to worry about carrying that tripod around. You know what I mean? The more weight
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, totally.
Um, so I was running on that hunt 15 by 56s, my 8 EO ranges, Swarovskis. I was running my BTX, and I was also running my Kawa 554. So depending on the situation, like one day, me and Nate Goodworth, the owner of All In, went out, and I just took my 1556s, my Kawa 554, and my eights, right? Because I was going to backpack in, not really backpack in, but we hiked in. We did like 5 miles that day, and I didn't really feel like carrying around the BTX and the
Yeah,
JC. So that day I ran, just an AD with a BP head on it, right?
yeah. That's a combo that's hard to beat right there.
It's very hard to beat that combo. I mean, honestly, like people tell me all the time, like, "Oh, I love the LP, but man, I got that BP and it's just so smooth." And I do tend to probably run the LP more personally if I'm running just my 15s. It's just an ease of use and it's light.
Yeah.
But man, that BP is really hard to beat. It's just so stable, and especially when you're digiscoping. Like I'm not a big digiscoper, but when you're hanging out with the owner of Allin, you kind of like have to act like you are. So
Yeah, right, yeah.
so I just like have to like, oh, let me get that video for you, Nate. I've got it. It's funny because I have it all in on every optic. I was buying all before me and Anthony were even friends. So I've got all on every optic, but I almost never digiscope because
Right.
I don't know. I just kind of, I'm very big on like the BTX and the 15s, and I don't like digiscoping on the BTX or the 15s.
Same,
So,
same. But
um,
that's what that
yeah,
little 554 is good for.
554 is phenomenal for that.
Super light, just
I also had some of those the new Razor ones, but the 56s, but not my
yeah,
favorite glass. The Cowa just
no.
smokes it.
The Kawas smokes it, yep.
Cowa
That
smokes it.
Kawa's a fantastic little optic.
Um,
Okay, so you mentioned the JC. Talk about that thing. I think you've talked about it before on the podcast,
yeah,
but never really
everyone.
in depth because it's always just sort of in talking with other people. So let's talk about
Yeah,
that thing.
I mean, the JC definitely is like what I consider like the ultimate glassing tripod, right? Like if you're like, I want to run large optics, I want to find more animals. The JC was built for you. If you're a guy running big eyes, you're running the twins, you're running BTX, big 115 millimeter spotting scope, whatever it is. The JC is just the solution for that, right? It's got micro painting left to right, and micro adjustment going up. It's got weights in the legs. It weighs anywhere from 3 pounds to 7 pounds. It's actually shockingly light for for everything it is with no weights in it. I mean, it's lighter
Mm,
than any of like I mean, I don't want to name names, but so a lot of the other stuff we're using like Monfrados and stuff before.
right, right.
It's just as light, if not lighter, but does more. and it's more stable because it has the inverted legs on it, right? That's one of
Sure.
the benefits of the inverted legs is so many of these heavy duty tripods have to use the fat leg up top, so it makes the top so much bigger. That's where all your weight is. And by inverting the legs, we're able to keep that, that top trindle like a lot smaller. And that keeps
Hmm.
the weight down. So you got the super stable tripod that is 3 pounds. It's a remarkable tripod. I run that a
Yeah,
lot. Like if I'm running the
it is a
PCRs.
very, very nice tripod. Very nice. And then what head do you normally have on that? The BP? Or do
BP or
you
DZ. I've been doing the DZ
DZ?
a lot lately. Probably because it's a new head. I mean, for shooting off of, etc. But now that I'm running the new bipod, I'm really kind of like, I don't know that I'm going to need to shoot off a tripod anymore. Maybe I will. I will. Um, yeah, I will if I shoot a tripod. There's certain
Well,
situations
you've
where you
got
just
some
need.
new tripods coming out that are
I
gonna
got some new shooting tripods
they're
coming out
good.
as well. You're going to be
Yeah,
shooting off of that. I don't have a choice on that matter. But in the
yeah.
field, it's just yeah. Um, I'm not a big tripod shooter. I don't feel like it's the most stable way to shoot. I
I'm
know
the same way.
everybody's super into it right now, and we're the new NRL sponsor of tripods, right, for shooting, and I'm the new. Right, we're doing all the PRS stuff, and I think we're going to
Mhm.
sponsor the tour down in like South Africa. I mean, Tricer's
That's awesome.
it's baffling how much Tricer's doing right now. I can't even keep up with it myself. But man, if I can like shoot off a tree or a rock, I'd much rather do that than shoot off a tripod, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
Totally.
just who I am. I mean, honestly, unless I'm shooting off like the new Tricer X with like the DH head, because I mean that tripod, we'll get into it later. It's just a tank, right? I mean, it's a with no weights in it, it's 5 pounds. Weights is 12 pounds, and the head has a 50-pound locking force on it, right? I mean, it's just we
Jesus.
shot two coos deer over 200 yards, and it was like standing up, like it was like nothing. Like the
Mhm.
thing is just incredible. Like we'll be bringing those to Texas in a couple of weeks to shoot buffalo off of. I'm getting ahead of myself right now, but
Yeah, we'll get into those
we'll get
because
into those. It's rock
I
solid, but
really,
yeah.
really wanna know more about those, and there's been
So,
I know some guys that are very interested in those shooting
yeah,
tripods
and
as well.
I do like I the BP is phenomenal. The DZ does everything the BP can, but it gives me the option to shoot better, right? And that's why I run the DZ over the BP sometimes. Is
Yeah,
it gives me that option to be able to camp my rifle if I do have to shoot off of it because if like where I was in Mexico, it wasn't really an area where I was going to have to shoot off a tripod, but like some of the places I hunted this year in Colorado or Utah, it was like where I was. If I had to shoot an animal, there was no choice but to shoot off a tripod because it was just too tall of freaking
right.
manzanita and scrub oaks. You had to shoot off a tripod, right? Or when I was in Hawaii this year, I was in like 6 foot grass. I shot a deer off of an AD with a DZ head. It was 250 yards. I just canted the rifle, freaking held that thing, and just dropped him in his tracks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's nice to have the option, and I think the DZ makes it a little bit easier for me rifle hunting to be able to camp my rifle and get level because there's like I don't know. I feel like the more I shoot, like I don't say professionally, the more I shoot competitively. There's the word I'm looking for. 'Cause I'm definitely not professional at this. I never will be. The more I shoot competitively, the more I'm like this, like respecting, like not canting my rifle, windage, all that
Mhm.
stuff, and like getting everything. Like it's one of those things where it's like crap in, crap out, right? You're dope in, you're dope out. Like it's just like I just want to get my levels as level as I possibly can. That DZ really allows that to be an easier job rather than having to adjust the legs of the rifles or
Right.
tripod. You know what I mean?
You need to check out those new rings, the RPM rings that have the built-in bubble level on the side. They're pretty sweet.
Dude, don't tell me, bro. I got one of the first sets. You can send them to me. They're on my
Yeah.
PRS rifle. I'm running
Yeah,
out of
Jared's the
PMs,
man,
dude.
dude. Jared is awesome. Good. I'm glad
Shout
you're
out,
using those.
shout
I'm
out to
glad.
Jared. Yeah, I'm gonna get another set for the NRL gun here. So I got to talk to him. I'll probably see him at the show. I actually bought a Vortex from him, but the new gun I put his ice on, the new 6.5 Creedmoor, no homo.
Mhm.
Um, I got so
I
I'm shooting a Creedmour
I don't
now,
know anything
people.
against you. Yeah.
I'm shooting a Creedmoor now, people. It's great for shooting paper and steel targets.
And deer and antelope
And
and
deer and
just about
antelope and
anything you want
coyotes.
to really. It gets a bad rap, but it's not a
Yeah,
terrible cartridge.
yeah, I know, but
Um,
we don't need to go into cartridge talk right now. I'd love to make fun of me, make some fun of some Creedmoor though, because it gets people upset, man.
yeah, it does. So with the JC, let's talk about that a little bit more because there is some unique stuff that if people don't know, the removable weights and kind of how that works, because it really is a very unique. Did you say you patented that thing?
Yeah, it's patented. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
there's two
super unique
patents,
tripod.
2 patents on the GC right now. About to be three if we're going to convert the new locks into it as well. So it has steel rod inserts that go into the feet. I was listening to a podcast one morning with two of my favorite people, Cody Nelson and Jay Scott, and they were just saying, "Man, like the only reason I love aluminum is it's just they're heavier." And I was like, "Man, I could put weights into the feet. I don't know how it came to me. I know exactly where I was when I thought of this, and I drove to my shop that day, cut the feet off a tripod, welded a leg on there, and I was like, oh, done. And so all it
Done.
is a steel rod insert that goes into the leg of the tripod, and it adds weight to the tripod, giving you more stability, right? Because that's the name of the game, stability, right? Like I tell people all the time, I don't build the world's lightest tripods. I build the most stable tripods. That's my goal, right? Is to build a stable tripod. If I could build a tripod that weighs 15 ounces, but it's not stable, it's pointless to me, right? I'd rather carry a tripod. That's why my tripods weigh 33 and 26 ounces, because we use heavier legs and bigger stuff because we want it to be more stable
Right.
than some of these things out there that are 19, 16 ounces. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, you can add the weights in there and you can easily pull them out. If you're going to leave them in, definitely recommend doing some Loctite or some thread tape because they'll loosen up on you in there. I think I've told you that too. You'll get them
Yeah.
rattling.
Yeah.
So I just put some thread tape on there, leave them in there, and they're good to go. I have a one set up that way for like truck hunting and stuff, but it
And then
gets
putting the weight down low lowers that center of gravity. So if it's a windy day or if it's something
it
like that,
just
it
anchors it down.
completely,
Yeah,
well, I won't say completely, but it really, really reduces that wind vibration that you get off of, when you're
yeah,
glassing in the wind or something.
it's pretty remarkable. Like we'll get guys all the time like, oh, the weight to the feet's not gonna do anything. It's like like I don't claim to be a scientist, but all I know is that when I use this stuff, it just works and it's more stable. Like I don't
Yeah.
know,
Right.
man. Like I'm just telling you right now, it's more stable than anything out there. And you put those weights in there, and you can run those feet as spikes as well. I actually one I have set up is run it as spikes, not as rubber feet. So you can run it as rubber feet with weights, spikes with no rubber feet, or you can run it as rubber feet, no weights. So it gives you three options to run it, and that patent actually grows into the new X tripods as well. And I'll talk about that in a minute because we have
Yeah.
some really insane weights on those ones. We're adding up to 8 pounds in each of those tripods,
Whew.
or 7 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
Somewhere there. That's a lot.
Next thing, I think go into detail on the DZ because that's another. I know you talked about it a little bit, but
I
that
should
thing
grab
is
one. Let me grab one real quick.
okay.
Hey,
You're.
podcast editor, go ahead and just cut out that 30 seconds of dead
I
time
was
right
getting
there.
ready to
Right?
say your podcast producer is going to have to deal with that big gap right there.
Big gap right there. Let's take that part out. So this is a DZ. So there is this trend, right? I was talking to Cody Nelson about this today on the phone. We were talking. We kind of get together a few times a month to talk tripods, and there is this trend where everyone wants to shoot off a tripod. That's where we're going as a community, right? I'm addressing that with my tripods, some of the new stuff I'm building. But for me, 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's a glassing tripod. So when you have guys going and buying ball heads to glass with, and then just in case they have to shove the tripod, to me, it's asinine. Like it's like I would never recommend using a ball head to glass just in case you have to shoot off your tripod, because most of the time I'm finding a fence post or a tree, whatever, a rock, my backpack, a
Right.
bipod. Like the tripod is not like your go-to situation. But when you do have to do it, a pan head like the BP pan head, even though we do shoot off these all the time, when I countless animals off the BP and the LP, it's not ideal because now it's a fixed head and there's no ball to level your rifle out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I patented this, and I patented a ball head into a fluid head. So now you have a fluid head you can glass with all day long, and then if you get on an animal, you just break the lever free and you can cant your rifle
Right.
right there and get your rifle level and make those shots. And Chad, you were actually prototyping one of these for me too, weren't you?
Yes.
You were, yeah. Because I remember you were like, "Can I share this?" Can I share this?
Yeah. And there's a level in the side of the.
Yeah, there's actually 2 levels in this. I don't know if yours even
Yep.
has that. I probably should get you a new one. I don't know if yours has. This one has 2 levels in it.
Mm-hmm.
The
No,
final
mine's
version.
got the one. I think it does. Either way.
You know what it does? I sent you the final version to add. So this quick connect piece right here was a
Mm-hmm.
nightmare, and I sent you probably 4 of these. I bet you to
Yeah.
change out. That's what it
Yep.
was. Yeah, but doing this enabled me to go into the new products we're making. So like the Tricer Go and the
Mm-hmm.
Tricer DH and the AK and all this stuff we have going on. So
Yeah.
there's so many letters. Like everyone's like, how many SKUs do you have? I have no idea.
All you got to do is just throw letters together.
I'm running out of letters, man. I'm running out of alphabet. I have to go to 3 letters pretty soon
Yeah.
on the
It
stuff.
could be like a license plate game before you know it.
This has a 15-pound rating on it. I mean, people always ask for like a weight rating. There's no optic in the world this can't handle.
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
had my BTX on that
oh,
easy
all day
with a
long BTX.
95.
Not
Yeah.
even not even a question of the BTX. But like when I say big optics, I mean like the Cowa Highlander, which Marlon runs from Marlon
Mhm.
Holden, Jerry Hunter. He runs that thing on here. He actually runs on the BP, but same difference, same pan head without a ball, no issues. So for me, that's what I like to tell people is like it'll handle any optic you have. Any
Yeah.
optic, any rifle, put it on this thing, it's gonna handle it, and it's gonna handle it smoothly and
Yep.
easily. And it's not and the cool thing about my these heads with the I don't want to say technology. I guess technology we have in them. The way they're designed is you can like wherever you set your elevation, it stops. Right. So you just set your tension, and if you tilt your pan head forward, it just stops. Where like if you're using another head out there, like maybe a really popular one that everyone uses, it goes. And you push it forward and it kind of skips down a little bit, and you're like
Mhm.
trying to stop it. And these heads with these big 2-inch brake pads they have in them, they just stop wherever you go. I mean, it's truly a glassing
Yep.
head, not a photography head. And I mean, that's kind of what our MO is, right? Is you're not going to see me take a photography head and then put some antlers on it and call it the Tricer head like every other brand out there. No offense, every other brand, but that's what you're
Right.
doing. And we created heads that are specifically there. I mean, you look at the BP and the DZ, and it doesn't look like anyone else's head out there because it's unique to glassing and to hunting, and it's not just I mean, no one's doing that. No one is innovating heads right now for shooting or for hunting. They're just taking photography stuff and rebranding it. And that's what we did
Right.
with those two heads. And I mean, they sell great. I mean, I can tell you right now, I think we're selling the DZ like 3-1 to the BP now.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, well, just it gives you you get more heads, $50 more, and it essentially gives you a Tricer Go built into it, right? And
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
also
I
gives
mean,
you
I could see it. Yeah.
so it's just like I tell people all the time, like they want to buy the BP and a Go, and I'm like, you can just buy the DZ, and it already has the quick connect, and it also comes with a thumb screw attachment as well, so you can take the quick connect
Mhm.
off and attach a thumb screw, right? That kind of spurred the whole like the way we do that with the screw. It kind of spurred the whole the bipod design because the same thing we're doing on the DZ we did to the bipod, right?
Yeah. And are people still buying up the LPs like crazy?
Oh God, we sell 1,000 LPs a month. Yeah,
Yeah, I bet.
the
That's
LPs.
the best that little thing is just awesome.
It's my
I
favorite
love that thing.
panhead. People all tell me, "What do you run? What do you run?" And they think I mean, I'm on this podcast. I'm talking about some of the craziest I'm running. But like, if I had to choose, and if I wasn't running Tricer, I'd just run the freaking LP and the AD and a 15 by 56, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
no attachments, no nothing, just simple. Like I'm going to Alaska in August with Shed Crazy. We're gonna go do Sitka Blacktail, and I guarantee you, my kit will be a pair of 15s, a pair of 8s, a 5.54 spotter. Unless I can get some fit 14s from Swarovski before it starts, Swarovski, hook me up.
Hey, hey, I used
And
them on my Arizona Coos deer hunt, and there are hands down the absolute best optic I've ever put my
so
hands on. They are
there's something in the
freaking
works
crazy.
with Tricer and Swarovski, and I'll just say that there's something in the works. I might be getting some
Good,
Swarovski optics, and I
good,
told them
good,
trading is how I want to do these deals, but they happen to have a shooting team that might need some tripods. So hopefully I get some
good.
14s, and hopefully I get that new SST spotter. But bottom line, I don't know why I went into that rant. I'll be carrying an 80 and
Because you
LP.
deserve them. That's why.
Yes, I deserve them. Yes, like I need more optics, like a hole in my head. But I have so many optics. It's sad. Um, I'll be
Yeah,
carrying a pair of 15s, a pair of 8 rangefinder binos, and then I'll be carrying the small spotter. That's all I carry. All I need is an LP
yeah,
for that, and an AD. I don't need to bring a JC for that. I don't need to bring a DZ for that. All I need is that. If I have this bipod on my rifle, I'm good to go. And honestly, on that hunt, I'm probably going to be running our lever action rifle, open sights, because Ben's doing it, and I don't want to be the only guy not doing it. So no scopes, no nothings. We'll have to get close and just figure it
yeah.
out. So it should be fun.
Man, that would be a super fun hunt.
Yeah.
Um, what else you got? So the DZ, the JC came out. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about the LP. I know it isn't new, but the LP is how we got introduced to each other
Yeah.
over a year ago. The me and a buddy had some of the top brands of
Oh,
the
that's right.
little small lightweight panheads, and we were doing a test. So he had two of the big brands, and I had the LP, and we went and put them against each other. And to me, the Tricer was hands down the best of those, and the other two were double the price, right?
Yeah, that tends to be the story. Yeah, man, it is the best selling panhead in the country. That's what I tell people all the time. I don't know anyone else selling more panheads than we are when it comes to LP. I mean, it's
Yeah,
literally. 1,000 a month. I mean, it's wild. The 80 and the LP are the bread and butter of Tricer. The new products are awesome. I love doing it, but man, like those two are just
Yeah.
they'll always be in the lineup. They're always going to be there. I mean, maybe slight changes here and there. We're changing the twist locks on the AD coming forward to be our new Tricer. You'll see those, the new Tricer twist locks we have. They're custom. I don't know if you can see those on here, Chad. See them?
Yep.
So it's got like
Oh,
Tricer molded into them. So all our tripods, I spent like 40 grand making twist locks. My partners were stoked. They're
yeah,
like,
I
"What
bet
are
they
you
were.
doing?" And I'm like, "It looks so cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
you got to look
Sometimes
different."
it's aesthetics is a thing, man.
Dude, in the front of my book, it says it's must look bitchin'. Like my
Yep.
design book is must look bitchin', man. And if I can do something to make my product better, these just grip better than the other ones we're using and they look better and just it's a nicer product and it makes it for
When is
easier.
that going to start? When are you going to start having those as the
It's now. It's now. So
no?
whenever we
Okay.
run out of what we have in stock, we have a lot of stock. Those will be behind it. I mean, all the new tripods, the DZ or the what do we have? The X1, the X2, and the HK will all have those on it. The bipods have those on it. No joke. I spent like 40 grand on molds to make every size we have from the JC down to the smallest of the
Yeah.
RP up to the big. I mean, the ones on the Tricer X are like 2.5 inches round. They're giant, but they look
I
really
can't
cool,
wait to
man.
I can't wait to get my hands on one of those things.
They look really cool. So yeah, we're doing that's the only thing change on that. But those bottom line, the 80 and the LP are our bread and butter.
Yeah.
It's my go-to for the vast majority of the hunts. And honestly, I think that's the tripod and pan head that you need, right? Like everyone needs that head. Like everyone needs that tripod. And if you want to add another head on later, sure. But for the majority of dudes out there, it's all you need. It'll handle an
Yep.
85 millimeter spotter, no
That's
problem.
what I tell people all the time too.
And if you're going to be running, and I mean, I get it. I robbed myself of 200 bucks by talking to that instead of a BP or a DZ. But it's like, man, like that's what I run, and I would
It
much rather
works.
buy.
It works great.
It works great. It does the trick. You don't need to have the BP for your bino. If you're just a bino guy, like most of us are, with a little bit of spotter in there, the LP is all you really need.
Yep. That's what people ask me all the time. Hey man, I'm going to buy a Tricer or whatever. What do I need? And I just say buy the AD and the LP and done. That's all you're going to need.
Yeah,
Because I don't know anybody that's running the Highlanders. I
yeah,
have one buddy that has a BTX with a 115, and I could go look at a picture, but I think he has the LP. I'm pretty sure
yeah.
he does.
You should switch to BP for that. But I can tell you that if you're like a guy who wants to run a spotter all the time, or you want like the smoothest head out there, like the BP is probably the way you want to go, right? It's it's gonna be a little bit smoother than the LP because it's bearings, not friction. So it is. I mean, in all intents and purposes, it is a smoother head, but the LP is already like when they do like smoothness tests, like backcountry, whatever, backcountry backwoods did a whole series on like 8 pan heads. Like the LP was the smoothest
Yeah.
pan head by far.
Backwoods Pursuit.
Backwoods
Yep.
pursuit. There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's a great dude. I really
He
like
is.
him, man.
I mean, and the LP came in and just smoked everybody for smoothness, right? And light. It was the lightest, the smoothest. It's just a magical head. I mean, you couldn't do it any better. And we've actually made a few changes to that head over the years, but it's essentially the same head we made day one. And only things changed is like aesthetics and some of the little functions that I've added to it to make it better, right?
So I'm looking at the picture now. My buddy's using the BP with the
Yeah,
115. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I knew he had a Tricer head on there. I just for some reason I was thinking it was the LP, but
It looks
BP.
so cool. The BP looks so cool, that big dinosaur head, because you just always see that in the pictures. It's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, and the tucked in there.
It breaks my heart when I
Um,
see like my head on another tripod though. So, but
let's let's talk bipod because I think that was the next big thing. Well, that thing's been in the works for a while. We've been talking about that for a long minute, and
dude, so
it's
let's just
there.
do
It's
the
sitting in front of
whole
you. You got one.
in front of me. I've got the only one. I think people would kill me for it right now.
Yeah, I told you you better chain that thing down on Expo.
Expo, I know, man. All right, so me the backstory on the bipod. When I first went into business, I built a product, and I'm not going to say what it was anymore because you'll be able to figure it out if you want to do a lot of work. I built a product that was like an attachment to another bipod in the industry, and the owner of that company messaged me, and he's like, "Man, it would have been nice to know you're making stuff for my product. Blah blah blah. Maybe I could have worked with you." It's kind of this crappy email, and I just or message on Instagram. I text back. I'm like, "Hey man, like, dude, you make the greatest stuff. I love using your stuff and using it for years. And here's my name, my number, my email. Like, call me. Let's talk about this. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't trying to get you." And the way that guy ended that was like a couple days later, I got a letter in the mail from his lawyer, cease and desist.
Cease and desist. Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, buddy." For one, he had nothing on me because he could. There's just one of those things trying to scare me. We're 1 week in business, right? I'm losing money. The first 2 years I am bleeding money, and this guy,
Right.
that's how he responds to me. Not like, "Oh man, let's talk it out." So I said to myself, "You might like give me some time. I'm gonna figure this out. Like, give
Hmm.
me some time. I am gonna create a bipod that just crushes what you do, but I'm not gonna create a bipod until I have it perfect." And I spent 4 years doing. I'll never forget that when that guy did never call me back, never text me, never nothing, just send his lawyers after me. I never forgot that, and that's where the Tricer RP came from.
Hmm.
It's 4 years of me thinking about what is the best bipod for hunting there is, and that's what I created. Um, and that's Tricer RP. And I
Yeah.
also wanted to create a bipod that didn't pigeonhole you into a proprietary system. You got to put their stud on there, or you got to put their lock on there. I didn't want to create a bipod that was a short bipod or a long bipod or a medium bipod or an Arca Swiss bipod or a pick bipod or a swivel stud bipod. I wanted to create one bipod that did it all and it sold at a price that just made sense. And that's the Tricer RP. So
It really is. That
it's
thing is
let's
pretty
break.
phenomenal.
It is like people who are listening. I know I'm tooting my own horn right now. This will be the best selling bipod in the market for hunting, hands down. We're selling. I put it on pre-order 4 days ago. We're selling 100 a day right now on pre-order. I'm so scared I'm gonna run out of this inventory. Like we're gonna have to. We're already having to. I'll tell you right now. We ordered 2,000. I'm probably gonna order 6,000 because I think we're gonna get through 6,000 by the time they ship in May. Because we're selling almost 100 a day, and that's 90
Yeah.
days away.
And
So that's
I think
9,000.
Hunt Expo is gonna. I think you're gonna really get
Oh, people are gonna
a
see
lot of
it.
orders after Hunt Expo. I think.
Oh, it's just it really is the best bipod. So what do we got here? We've got a bipod that has long legs, spiked feet, short legs, rubber feet, or you can put the rubber feet on the long legs. So it comes with long legs and short legs. All it takes is 2 set screws, unthread the leg, put it back in, put the set screws back in, and some blue Loctite on there.
So, what are the leg lengths like right now? What's the
This bipod will go.
variation
This
between
bipod will
heights?
go from 8 to 30 inches.
And that's what the long legs.
The long legs. Honestly,
Okay.
I'll probably never run the short legs. Like it's for me at the range, like it's a little bit wide on the table, but
Yeah.
when it's 24 inches wide, like it is right now, or 20 inches wide, whatever that is, on the like it is the most stable thing I've ever shot off in my life.
Yeah.
Like we've killed, I can't even, I mean, 8 animals off it this year or something, deer.
Hmm.
I mean, pigs. I mean, you name it, and
Antelope.
it's just
Yeah.
antelope off it. Yeah, I mean, Coos deer, Mexico. This thing's been all over the West, and it hasn't missed. Let's put it that way. There has not been a miss off the Tricer RP this year,
There
and
you go.
all these
You
shots.
heard it here. You can't. You will not miss an animal if you use that tripod
I'm telling you right
or
now,
bipod.
like every animal's been like 300 to 500 yards that we've shot off this thing.
Hmm.
And it's just rock solid, dude. Like I got on a Coos deer last week. I'm walking up. I look up. The Coos deer standing broadside at 300 yards, looking at me, and I'm like, well, if you're still standing there when I get prone, you're dead. And I drop my pack, look at it, still standing there, lay down prone, spread the legs out, and I'm on a hill. So I'm laying on the side of a hill, if that makes any sense. So like my body is
Yeah.
angled downhill. And so I just put the thing on their stable, broke the cant lever, leveled my rifle out. It was 290 yards. The back of the rifle is almost in the dirt. So it was like basically as stable as you're gonna get. Like my hand is touching the dirt as I shoot this
Hmm.
deer. And I watched that bullet go through both shoulders and that deer just drop in his tracks. And it was
Awesome.
like, holy smokes, that was so easy. I didn't have to like take my backpack, put my backpack down, do one of those things, stack it up. It was like, holy smokes, that's so easy. Right.
Yeah.
And then we had like, I'm just gonna give you examples. Let's go through some of these things we've done with this bipod this year. I guess we should say it also comes with an Arca head. So it comes with a pick and Arca and a swivel stud to Arca adapter. So you get long legs, short legs, spiked feet, rubber feet, pick, Arca, and a swivel stud to Arca to pick adapter, all in one kit for $299. It's unheard of. I mean,
That's crazy, man.
there's a reason why we're crushing it. Like I probably should raise the price to $400, and I could all day long, but I would much rather sell 20,000 of these and get them to everyone's hands because it's just that good of a bipod.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I want everyone to have the opportunity to have this on the rifle and kill stuff because I can't wait to get all the texts because I use it all year and we killed so much stuff, dude.
I think we talked about it. Oh, it's been a couple of months ago, and I was like, I'm sorry, say that like you're charging how much for this thing?
It's
And you told
everyone.
me, and I said, you could probably charge a lot more than that. And I compared prices to some other leading brands out there, and you said just that. I would rather sell a quality product at a fair price and get it in everybody's hands than I would jack up the price. And I think that's super respectable.
And that's what we've done with the LP as well. Like I literally like with this kind of product, I could probably charge you $500 for this and still sell a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's that good, and I could just do it. But I'm not going to do that, right? So I mean, we're almost $100 cheaper than like the next guy out there who everyone's using right now. But I tell you, everyone who's using that bipod right now picks up this thing and says, "Oh, I'm selling that bipod," and that bipod came out last year,
Yeah.
and they're already like, "I'm selling that bipod. This is so much better."
It's probably
So
the one that's on my rifle right now.
it probably is. I don't want
Probably.
to say the name of the brand, but
No,
I
I
can
don't
say that
either. Because I
everyone
like
loves
that
it.
brand also.
I like that
But
brand also. So like I'll give you an example. Like my it's just why this thing is so it's literally the most versatile bipod in the world because you can go prone to sitting to kneeling to uphill shots, downhill shots, cross canyon shots, all in one bipod. It's right there, right? And I'm so sick of like I was always carrying like a long Harris, and then
Mhm.
that would be too long for shooting prone, or I was using a freaking whatever the Spartan bipod, and it was just like not tall enough. It was just like I'm gonna show up my backpack. What do I need this for? You know what I mean? Like it just didn't do or didn't have the function or the things I wanted to have. Right? Like I have a thing. I mean, I've got I shouldn't be naming brands, but I've got Atlas bipods and Harris bipods and Spartan bipods. I've got probably 15 bipods, and I almost never bring them with me because I always bring the wrong one.
Mhm.
Like I never have the right bipod on my rifle, right?
Yeah.
And now I always have the right bipod on my rifle, and that's what the RP does. Like that's what I wanted was like one bipod that does it all in a the configuration right here is like 15 ounces. So it weighs anywhere from 11 to 15 ounces, depending on the configuration, what head you're running, what feet you're running, etc. It's not that heavy. I mean,
That's not heavy at all.
there are
That
lighter
for
things out there, but it's just I beefed it up because I wanted to shoot shoot the big magnums off it. I added some weight to it. Um, and it just works. Like, right? I'd much rather carry another 5 ounces and have a bipod that works than carry 10 ounces and have a bipod that I throw off my rifle and use my backpack because like it doesn't do what I need it to do, right? Um, so it's right there with everything else out there. I mean, it really is. A lot of the high end stuff's like in the 19 to 30 ounce range, anyways.
Mhm.
So we're right there. We're lighter than most of them, and we're actually more capable than all of them.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a question. I'll give you some examples, some field examples from this year. My antelope was 500 yards this year, and we're filming everything, and I'm using the OT6, and I'm very capable of that shot. But we're filming, and they're like, shoot him," and I'm like, "No, man. Like, I'd rather just see if it gets closer." Right? It was like opening morning. I don't need to shoot far, have it on camera, have to explain why I gut shot an animal and it ran on private property or whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like, I'd rather just be patient. It kind of goes against everything I've been trying to do this year with that rifle, anyways, right? And so I'm laying there prone, fully splayed out, rocks all on this antelope. And I look to my right, and there's a doe, two does, like 30 yards to my right. And I look up at that buck, and he looks over at that doe, and he just starts running our way. And on the video, you'll hear it's supposed to come out at some point here. The guy ever gets film done. You just hear him dial. They're calling ranges, and I'm just it's like 400, 350, and I'm just back to zero. Right now, this
Yeah.
thing is like I don't know I think I shot him like 200 yards, 220 yards. I don't know. And now I'm too low. But as I had to adjust the legs, I just click these two buttons and adjust it straight up like this. And it gave me the 12 inches of height I needed now to make that shot. And it's just with just two buttons, all it is. Instead of having to go and, adjust legs and do that stuff, it's just by clicking these two buttons, I get, an extra 6 inches of height and I was able to make
Can
the
you
shot.
do the legs independently too?
Oh yeah. And
When
I
you
did
were
that.
laying on
Yeah.
that hillside,
You
real
can do
weird.
whatever you can do whatever you want. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean, like if you had a cant that was too steep, you can do something like that and get it a little bit taller. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
it literally just does it all, dude. And I shot that antelope. You'll see the video end to end and put it right behind the shoulder. Came out the left rear or the left rear ham, and it looked like him at the size of a basketball. I mean, the thing blew up. It was awesome. It came out small in the back, but like when it went through the kinetic energy, it was rad. It's on slow motion. It looks really cool.
That was a hammer bullet out of your 30
Hammer
aught
Bullet
six, right?
30-6. Yeah,
Yeah.
going 3160. I mean, those things have just killed everything I've shot at, right? Killed that thing, right? I told you the story of my Mexico buck. Ben Dedamani was in Mexico with me, and he was running this same bipod. We only have one final prototype, and I already filled my tag, and we're sitting there on this water, and we look up 420 yards to our right, and like a 45-degree angle is this buck. Well, typically, what does that mean? What are you doing in that shot? you're stacking backpacks, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
We're
I went
stacking
through this in Colorado,
we're
and the whole time
stacking
in Colorado, I was pissed off because I didn't have I knew if I would have had your bipod, I would have killed a bull. Easy.
yeah, you're stacking backpacks and then you're putting a bipod on top of it. I mean, I've done it. My kid shot a deer a couple of years ago off 2 backpacks with a bipod and shot a deer at 385. So
Yep.
Ben's buck is at 420. He just freaking puts it in the first position, cranks these things down a little bit to where it's like, I don't know what that is, 20 inches tall, lays back prone. His hand is basically in the dirt now. So you got that full stability, right? Which, like, if you can get your hand in, if you can get the stock of the rifle in the dirt, it's good. You're gonna hit. And he freaking stones this. The video's on Instagram. Look at Shay Crazy's video. You'll see him stone this freaking Koozie. I think there's a backflip and just drops in his tracks right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the proof is in the pudding. Like, I'm building hunting bipods. I'm not building shooting competition bipods. I'm building hunting bipods that you can use for shooting, right? Where everyone else in the industry is building shooting bipods that we're trying to make work for hunting. This is a hunting bipod for hunting situations, and it's just
Mhm.
proving itself left and right. Like, the other example would be, I ended up not using it in Colorado, but I was going to. I was in a grass field and I'm chasing this buck through. It's the worst stalk of my life. I end up killing the buck at 20 yards. And I've got the bipod fully deployed.
Oh, I remember this.
I've got the bipod fully deployed because I'm ready to get on my knees and shoot this buck. That's the only way I'm going to shoot this buck in this grass field. And then I walk up. If you watch the video, I think that film came out in December. It's called 3 for 3 or January, one of those two. I think it came out in January. It's called 3 for 3. And I actually shoot the buck offhand standing up with the bipod fully deployed. It's pretty funny. But like, it gave me the ability to, at 20 yards, actually in the video, you see me shooting like 6 yards for the second shot. But
Yeah.
it gave me the ability to get on my knees and shoot him in the field because that's where I need this bipod for. I don't need to get like, if I have to get prone, I can throw my rifle into a backpack, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
what I need a bipod for is for those weird situations, those weird angles that I need to get level on and stable on. And it just freaking works, man. And it's just so much more stable than a backpack. It gives you that preload. It just does the trick. So, man, like, I know I'm talking it up, but Tricer RP
I
bipod,
think you have reason to be super
Tricer
proud of that thing.
RP product of the year. I'm calling it right now. Someone's gonna write an article about it being the product of the year because it
Yeah.
really is the best bipod I have ever used. And, and I build things. I tell people all the time, like, I'll be like, "That's the best head I've ever used," and they're like, "You're conceited," and I'll be like, "No, find one better." And
Yeah,
you
right.
are not
Try
going
it.
to find a hunting bipod, especially at this price range, that does half of what this thing does. Because nobody has one that does ARCA and pick and comes with the adapters. Because right now, like, if you want to get a pick bipod and you just have a 30-06 like I'm shooting, you can't do it. Because you have to get a pick adapter for it. And you got to do all. It's just like, I wanted to make one kit for guys to buy this thing and just be like, it's a no-brainer product. You can
Yeah.
make it work with any rifle you have, whether it be a chassis rifle, Seekins rifle that has pick built into it, or just a regular your grandpa's 30-06 with a swivel set on. You put this new attachment on there and you turn it into a Picatinny rifle with.
Yeah, that's really
It's,
cool because there are a lot of rifles out there that still have that old sling swivel stud.
oh, dude, I'm doing it on mine right here. I'll show you. I have it right here on my 30-06. Like, oh, she's a little rusty. I need to might put some oil on her. I've been using her all year. She's getting a little rust on her. See, this goes right on the swivel stud, and you just tighten this hex
Mhm.
nut up, and it tightens down. And now I have pick on my rifle and put my bipod
Yep.
on. I'm done.
That's pretty
That's it. Let
cool.
me throw this on the couch right
Is
here.
that a Tricer thing too?
Yeah, that comes with the bipod.
Oh, okay.
It comes in the kit. It's called the Tricer PA. It comes in the kit with the bipod, and will also be selling individually for like $24.99 or something. I don't know. I
Yeah.
got to put a number on it. Something like
Everything's
that.
everything's got the 2-letter code. That's
Everything that's yeah, PA,
yeah.
Pennsylvania. So yeah, that's the RP, man. I literally believe this will be our best-selling product, hands down, from here on out.
Yeah.
And if you hunt, this will be the bipod you buy.
That's
It's a
cool.
no-brainer. It just, like, I love.
I
Like,
don't even
I
know.
think
I mean, just to say that if you hunt, hands down, but I could see that being really beneficial in the NRL
NRL,
Hunter Series,
it's a cheat code
DRS
for NRL.
Series.
Like, I'll be running this in NRL this year for sure. It's a cheat code for NRL.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're a predator hunter, the predator hunters are going crazy with this thing right now because you can sit down. And all these guys, these crybabies who are texting in like, "Oh, it needs to be 34 inches." Dude, shut up. It's 30 inches. It's high enough. Lean over a
That's
little
pretty
bit.
high.
Like,
Yeah, that's
I
plenty.
mean, like, I've got multiple guys saying, "Oh, if it's not 34 inches, I can't buy it." I'm like, dude, 4 inches? Come on.
Yeah. Set it on your backpack.
So, I mean,
If
you
you
don't
really
need
need that extra 4 inches, put
you
it on
don't
your
need
backpack.
4 inches. You can lean down a little bit. Like you don't want
Yeah.
to be like super high. I mean, the higher you go, the more unstable you're going to be,
Right.
right? But dude, these guys with this 34-inch. But I mean, the predator guys
um,
are eating it up. They're buying the snot out of it. Because really, I mean, right now we're running like those. There's sticks out there that I don't want. I keep naming names of other bipod companies. But I'm just looking at what's available right now. Like we have the Swagger sticks, right? And like they got springs in them and they're doing all this stuff. It's like inherently not a stable shooting platform.
right.
And it's made for being versatile, but like this is just so much more stable, right? If you're shooting dogs off of a 10-pound rifle, this is a much more stable than that other bipod that's out there, right? For that, the people are using, because that's people are using for this, right? And there are guys trying to make some tall bipods, but they don't have all the functions of this. So they've got like 20-inch legs on their bipods, and they just don't have all the capabilities of this bipod, and it's just so easy to use. You see how quickly I'm moving these things around, Chad? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's just like once you use it a couple times, it's just like it's just push button. It's all it is.
Yeah. I
Right?
like it.
Great from day one, when day one was like thumb screws I was doing on here. I mean, first prototypes were pretty brutal, but
I bet they were.
and I
But
just
that's where
know
everything starts,
that
right?
with
And then
4 years of development, it's just for me, it's the perfect bipod for me. It might not be the perfect bipod for you. Maybe there's one you like more. That's fine.
I
I'm
think
telling
that
you right
is going to
now,
check an awful lot of boxes
it
for a lot
checks
of
the
people.
boxes. It checks the boxes. It's
Yeah.
super stable. It's we increased like things we did on it during prototyping. We increased the size of this ball head in here and reduced some of the cant to where it's like a big 1/2 inch rod now, so it just locks in solid. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just you get the thing on your target, lock this lever right here. It's a big old pull lever too. It's got a spring in it so you can move it around. You know, see that?
Hmm. Yep.
Just like the LP. Lock that sucker in, and you're just like, it's a cheat code. Like I shot that buck in Mexico. And I know, like now that I'm shooting NRL all the time and PRS, like 300 yards to me now is like almost like it's funny not even bat an eye at that anymore. Like it's just like, oh,
Right.
dude. But like, dude, I watched that buck just dropping his tracks. That bullet went exactly where I aimed and went poof, done. And it was just like, what the heck? This bipod
That's
is so
freaking
cool.
awesome.
This
That
bipod
is
is so cool.
awesome.
And that's how like people ask me, like, like to me, that's what proves the bipod is the field photos. Like I had some Yahoo today, like after Ben shot his deer, I got a video of Ben. Some guys like, oh, way to just take field photos with your tax write-off in Mexico. And I'm like, dude, he just shot a buck at 420 yards
Yeah.
at a 45-degree angle off a bipod. Like
Or I would have responded, start your own business.
no,
Right.
actually, you know what I responded? I responded, yes, the tax write-off is great. I love hunting for free. I have
Yeah,
the coolest job in the
exactly.
world. Get over it. I have the coolest
You
job in
just
the world.
spent $40,000 to make different. Yeah, it's not free.
Yeah,
It is.
you know what I mean?
It's not
But like,
free.
literally, like, I don't care. Like, talk crap to me. I don't care. I have the coolest job in the world. Tricer pays for all my hunts. Tricer pays for all my guns.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome, man. Like, I made it. Like, yes, it's awesome, dude. Like, and I have no shame in saying that because, like, I've been busting my hump, and every penny I make goes back into this company and back into
Yeah.
hunts. And that's where, like, if you don't think a field moment of us shooting a deer at 420 yards at a 45-degree angle off a bipod sells a bipod, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
It just, if you
People
don't
are
like that,
people are
if you
always
don't,
there's always those jealous people out there,
and
and
I know, and honestly, like I am so blessed beyond belief by God to do what I do. Like every
yeah.
day, like ask anyone who talks to me, I don't understand what's happening. Like I don't understand that I literally have sold almost 500 of these in 4 days. Like
I understand it. That thing is
I,
sweet.
I don't. It doesn't make like I'm just a dude like working in a shed in his backyard still. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
dude, I'm just a dude, and like I am so blessed beyond belief. And yes, part of my job is hunting all the time and shooting all the time. I shoot 4 or 5 days a week, but that's
It's
how I
that
develop this
magic in
stuff.
that mustache, wasn't it? On the dang, what show was that I was editing? I think it was the Luke Horrock show,
Yeah.
and he was talking about the magic in your mustache.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I know, guys. Everyone with the whole like, everyone super troopers me all the time on the internet. It's pretty funny. But
Yeah.
we talk about return on ad spend at our marketing meetings every day, and we're actually crushing the women's market now in the photography space. Like AI just
Good.
took over, and like we are just killing it with women. And I told them it's the ROM, the return on mustache. The
Yeah.
ladies can't resist the mustache, dude.
Yeah.
They're just buying
So
it. They're
I have been
doing it.
noticing. I want to get to your shooting tripods here in
Yeah,
just a
let's get
minute,
to that. Oh,
but
that's the bipod.
I have been noticing that there is some advertisements out there for photography, and I think that's great too because so I do a lot of photography, And I use your tripods for photography. I don't need some of those other brands that are out there. Everything that you have is completely functional and it works awesome for photography. So
Yes. So
yeah,
I
I
will
mean, it
say
was
that I
designed to
do.
be a hunter's market, but
Yes. So
it
that's
fills the
exactly
niche.
what I'll say is like people will be like, oh, you make fun of photography, and advertising photographers. I blocked that guy, by the way. I was just sick of him. But yes, we make hunting products
Yeah,
that work damn good for the photography market. We do not make photography products for the hunting market. We are a
correct.
hunting company through and through. We are conservative. We love shooting animals. Send me your gripper guns. I'll put on my site. Go send a gripper gun to any of those other photography companies if they put on the webpage,
Yeah.
right? But I
Yeah,
have
that's not going on
so
there.
many photographers coming to me like, your stuff's incredible. You know, they're using the LP panhead. Like Luke, oh my gosh. I'm just at his house.
Doonesbury?
Dusenberry, oh my gosh, he's like one of my best friends in the industry. I was just
Yeah.
at his house yesterday. Luke
You're
Dusenberry,
forgettable, Luke. It's okay, Luke.
he's
No,
not
just
forgettable. He's
kidding.
coming to my house.
Just
Like,
kidding.
I love Luke. I'm gonna see him this weekend. He'll be at my house. He's staying with me next week. They're coming down. Him and his wife are coming down and stay with us and film for us. But Luke Dusenberry like runs the LP with his giant camera on. He's like, dude, this thing's phenomenal. You got to sell it to photographers. So yes, we have started advertising to photographers, but we are a hunting company first. We're a right wing, gun loving hunting company that if you want to buy my tripods and eat some granola and take some pictures, by all means do it, please, because the
Yeah.
money's going to
Enjoy
go
your
back there.
granola.
Granola
Yeah.
your granola, buy my tripods, please. But we will not be a photography company. We'll be a hunting company
Good.
for as long as I own this company. We are a hunting company through and through.
And a
Yes.
shooting company. So
And a
let's
shooting
talk
company. We
tripods.
are a
Let's
shooting
talk
company
shooting
now.
tripods.
So we have glass better, and the shooting line is seek and destroy. So I love that. So
Nice. Very nice.
what do you want to talk first?
I don't
Let's
know because I'm not really familiar with it. I am
let's do the HK. So
okay.
I went to Texas last year. Kind of what sparked this whole deal. I think I was already no, it's not. I was already making the other stuff first. I went to Texas last year, and every freaking guy in Texas is a whole other country.
Uh, I know. I
It's
live there.
another
I have
country.
lots of family that lives in West
And
Texas. I know
every
how it goes.
dude walks up to my tripod and is like, binoculars on a tripod? What do you mean binoculars on a tripod? Like, can you shoot off it? I shoot off my window. Can you shoot off that window mount? I'm like, are you serious? Yes. All they do is shoot off their tripods.
Yeah.
Basically, from Colorado East, a tripod is a shooting tool, not a glassing tool.
Yep.
So, right, like you kind of get to Colorado, Wyoming, maybe South Dakota, they're glassing. You start going east of that, Kansas, Alabama, they are shooting off tripods. And what they're using is, I don't name the brand. There's a brand out there that makes tripods that are all plastic and everyone uses them. If you go to Shields, there's going to be 60 of them on the wall
Yep.
and everyone buys that tripod. And in my opinion, it's not a good tripod.
Yep.
It's really heavy, not stable, and literally made out of plastic, right? So I said, I'm going to we were at this trade show for 3 weeks, and all I heard about was them using this other tripod that is not
Oh,
that
he
great.
froze up.
Producer, cut that part out too, right
Yeah,
there.
I'll talk to a guy about that. We'll see if we can get it
53
cut it out of
minutes
there.
in. Cut that in. Okay. So I'm at these shows and I decided to create what is called the Tricer HK, the hog killer. I wanted to call it the DK, the dog killer. I feel like that might be a little bit too much.
Yeah. You know how people reacted to your 4th of July
Yeah, I blew my dog up.
ads.
So, I mean, you call it the dog killer, they might get mad.
Yeah.
So, what it is an inverted tripod, shooting tripod, called the HK, which is $299 by itself, but we're selling it in a kit called the HK kit. And it comes with the inverted tripod that is the same legs as the JC, right? It goes from 25 to 28 to 31 millimeter legs, super stable. It comes with an aluminum AK ball head, which is our DH ball head, our professional shooting ball head, but it's aluminum. It's called the AK, and then it comes with a gun clamp, and that all comes in a kit for $519.
Wow. Yeah.
So
That's a solid setup.
It's
And
a
that gun
phenomenal
clamp
setup.
is really nice. I really like your gun clamp.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal. I mean, the whole point of it again is that I want to create a product that you could go do predator hunting with, hog hunting with, shoot out of a blind with. And right now, there's nothing really out there. It's just this one brand who's doing it. And some other brands. Like if you look at the predator setups, like it's like, I mean, like I could say trigger sticks, right? Like trigger sticks are cool, but they're not stable. You know what I mean? Like,
they are not.
I
Not
used
at
them
all. I
forever.
have one and it's terrible.
It's not what you should shoot off of, right? And this is something that you can put your rifle on and shoot 300-400 yards and have no issues, right? You can go shoot an NRL match off this. It's a great entry level tripod for NRL matches or PRS matches for guys out there. That's the Tricer HK. That's our Predator tripod, our shooting tripod. I truly do believe that this will be our best-selling tripod from here on out. I think that once this thing comes to market and we get into like the Shields, the Sportsman's Warehouses, the Cabela's, we're not in Sports Warehouse or Cabela's yet, but we will be, I'm sure, this year. I'm working on it. This will be the best-selling tripod we sell because it's just more people shoot off a tripod than do glass off a tripod.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to touch that eastern half of the United States and the guys out here. If you're a predator hunter, this thing is bad to the bone. Like if you're shooting dogs, this is a bad to the bone setup. You're shooting hogs, you know what I mean? You're going to Texas, shoot pigs. You know, this is the tripod you want to use, shooting out of a blind. Or if you just want to be a guy that doesn't want to run a center column, a lot of guys don't, run this one with an LP pan head on it. It still could do it. You just don't have the center column adjustment there. Or use this to glass off because you can glass off it still too, right? It still does all that stuff. So that is the Tricer HK kits. And we're also going to sell the AK by itself for $199 and the HK by itself for $299. So basically $500 for those two, or for $519 you get the whole thing with the gun clamp all done, right? Because the gun clamp's $150 on the webpage. You're basically getting a free gun clamp for $519. So that is the Tricer HK kits.
That thing's really sweet, man. That's a really cool setup.
It really is, and I think it's a needed. I think that the Predator space has been so like, I don't want to call them gimmick tripods, but man, they're just not good tripods in the Predator space.
Neglected, right now. I think they just people just don't. It's like shooting sticks or nothing, or some wobbly ass tripod, and I that right there may solve some issues for guys.
Yeah, and it's $519, right? I mean, like the other ones are in the $400 to $500 range. This is a much better product, $519. I mean, again, you're shooting a $5,000 rifle. You have no problem paying $519 for a good tripod, right?
But buy shitty ammo.
But by shitty ammo, yeah.
Just kidding. Don't buy shitty ammo.
Okay, so I guess we should talk about the big boys here. The Tricer X1 and the X2. Let me raise these things up here. So this is the X1 tripod and the X2 tripod. So these tripods are, I should bring the other one over here, right? Let me do that. Can you see that one? Let me bring one more.
I can see the octagon legs for sure.
Hexagon legs.
Hexagon legs. And on that one, we can see the head.
And hexagon legs. So we have the X1 and the X2. The X2 has 2 twist locks or 3-section tripod. The X1 has 1 twist lock, or it's a 2-section tripod, right? So these tripods are my attempt to break into the professional shooting space. In my opinion, they are hands down the most stable tripods in the world. There's 4 patents in them. They have hexagon legs, which nobody's doing. And the carbon is 8X carbon, 1.5 times thicker than anything else out there. So if you were to cut my tripod in half right now, this carbon fiber is going to be 1.5 times thicker than anything else that's out there. So there's a patent in those twist locks, obviously, because we have patented twist locks for hexagon legs. We're not using like clamp locks or cam locks. We're using twist locks. We have patented push button leg locks here for the to get your degree. So right now, if you go and get another brand's, any other brand out there right now that's doing shooting tripods, you're gonna have a pull lever, right? Which for me is just slow. You got to pull it out. This is patented. It's a push button that also auto retracts coming back down, so you can just find your degree. We have in this tripod, let me see if I can level this thing out for you. So you can see it. We have a patented auto leg lock system right here. Sorry, there you go. And it locks it out. So now it's locked in the first position, so it won't collapse on you. And then, like the JC, we have patented weights in every leg. So this tripod here weighs like a little less than 5 pounds. This tripod here weighs 12 pounds. And it comes with this giant 1-inch stainless steel weight, which actually has 3 weights on it. You can see me pulling this one apart, Chad.
Yeah.
There's actually 3 weights here. So you could just pick your weight, right? All the way up to 12 pounds. And you can run it reverse for a spike if you want to. I'm telling you right now.
Those are cool.
There is nothing more stable than these tripods.
What's the height on them? How high do they go?
Like 70 inches.
Okay.
The head on there, yeah.
And then, so minimum weight on that X2,
like 5 pounds.
Okay,
just under 5 pounds.
Nice. That's really, really nice. And then the head on those things, titanium, right?
Stainless steel. So we ended up going stainless steel on the head.
Okay.
We were going to go titanium, but like I thought, it came out to be too expensive, and I couldn't sell a head
Mm,
for $700. So stainless steel head, fully stainless, and smoothest head in the industry, and has the most locking force, 50 pounds of locking force on this head. That head is called the DH, the designated hitter, or Doc Holiday. I can't decide which it is yet. I think it was originally Doc Holiday. Then I was like, well, designated hitter, right? Like if you're gonna call him designated hitter, he's gonna close it out. That's gonna be this head right here.
yeah.
This head has our lock system for ARCA.
Hmm.
It also has a thumb screw on the side for pick if you want to run pick on it as well. So you can run pick and ARCA right in there. One
Nice.
throw lever. It's got the most locking force, smoothest, and it's also lowest to apex of anything on the market. So like a lot of the heads are a lot taller, like a half inch or
Hmm.
an inch taller. This is much shorter, so you're closer to the apex of the tripod, making you more stable. And the proof's in the pudding, man. Like we're out there on the range and doing PRS. We're shooting little freaking prairie dogs at 400 yards standing up, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
shot two
totally.
deer. Like if you're like a dude that has money, that's like this is $1,000 tripod and a $350 head. Like if you're like, I want the most stable shooting tripod for my Texas ground blind, you can't beat this.
Yeah.
Like it
And
is
that's
like,
comparable. There's other stuff out
oh, it's
there that are
just
pretty
money.
popular in the NRL Hunter series, and that's very comparable price
Oh,
to
it's
those
right
big
there.
beefy tripods. It's right
We're
there.
we're right there. We're more expensive than a lot of them, and less expensive than some of them.
Mhm.
Because we have way more going on. I mean, you look at this tripod. There's 4 patents in it. It's a couple $100 more than some of the other ones that are out there, but it's got hexagon legs. It's got leg lock systems. It's got the weights. It's just better. It's just a
Tricer
better
branded twist locks.
twice Tricer branded twist locks. I got to pay
Yeah,
myself back for that $40,000 in
that's
mold I
right.
did.
That's right.
To my partners. So yeah, it's just a better mousetrap, man. That's all it
Yeah,
is. And we actually just sponsored the whole NRL series now. Tricer is the official tripod of the NRL Hunter series. We're
super
bringing
cool.
someone on. I can't tell you the name yet. We're bringing somebody on full time to be the face of that for us. I'll be the face still, but another guy just to be more involved with that and be a lot of the events for us and all the shooting stuff. And we're
Cool.
going into it with head first into the shooting world. Look, we want to dominate. We don't play for second place in anything we do. Like I want to have the best heads, the best tripods in the shooting space, and I want to crush that space. I want every guy at the range to have a Tricer tripod
Of
under
course.
his PRS rifle because it makes him 5% better than the tripod he's already using,
Yeah,
right?
for
And
sure.
I think this will make you better, a better shooter. And when in that game of where it's a game of inches, like this tripod gets you there.
Yeah, I like the push lock, leg lock thing that you got there. That's
Yeah,
cool.
for me, it was like, why do I like? I hate the pull. You know what I mean? Like, and this
Yeah.
one is,
Yeah, you're totally right. Because then
I
it
hate
becomes
the pull.
almost a two-handed operation when you're
Yeah,
messing around with
it's
them
just I
things.
hate the pull, and I'm just do push button. It's much better, much cleaner, much easier. And so yeah, we're making push locks, and those are
Good.
actually branded too because they look sweet. So they actually have the Tracer knockout skull on them on every push lock too. It is
Oh, do
fucking
they?
dude, everything's all black. We're turning everything in the company all black, like all the screws and everything on the tripods. It just
Yeah.
looks these things just look pissed off. You pull up to range and pull this thing out, you look better, different and better than everybody else on the line. They're cool,
Yeah.
man.
Well, that's
Everyone
100%. When you just the legs themselves, like, as they sit
Mhm.
right there and I'm looking at them, there ain't nothing like it out there.
Nothing, and there can't be anything else like it because I have a patent on it. So for the next 15 years, man, you want hexagon or octagon or any shaped leg with a twist lock, it'll be Tricer because we patented all shapes
Very
and
nice.
sizes.
Very yeah, that's cool. That's
Take
cool.
that, other tripod companies.
Um, last thing I think that I at least wanted to hit, you may have other stuff too, your podcast, so talk about whatever you want, but, what shows are you gonna be at this year? Where can people see all the gear?
Oh
Um,
man, well
do you
this is
have it
gonna
listed anywhere, website or anything? You got all your
we should put it on the website. It's probably not on the website. We're definitely going to be at Western Hunt tomorrow. I fly out tomorrow, so this will probably air after that, I imagine. Maybe we can put this one out on Friday. Who knows? Or maybe not. It
tell
might
me
already
tell me when, I'll drop it
whenever.
whenever
We'll drop it
whenever you
whenever you
say.
want to put it out. We'll put it out for everyone to hear about. We probably should do it maybe next week or something. We'll be at Western Hunt. We just did Sheep Show. We did Dallas Safari Club. We're going to be at the Reno Sportsman Show in Reno, mid March. I think it's like March 15th or something like that. We will be at the Colorado Sportsman's Expo. We'll be at the NRA, which is going to be kind of cool to be at that event, the NRA event,
That's cool.
in April. I don't think I'll be there. I'll be in Hawaii for that. And then we will be at all of the Hunters Extravaganzas in Texas. And then we're going to get 6 tax this year. And then we sponsored 32 NRL events. We'll be at a lot of NRL events as well. At least
You gonna
product
have a
release.
tent at those, or are you gonna like
Dude, most
go
of them are
see
like,
those?
a lot of them, there's 2 or 3 in a weekend, so you can't be at all of them. Like I said, I'm trying to hire somebody to kind of go to 1 or 2 a month.
Hmm.
We'll be at a lot of them. We'll definitely
Yeah.
be at like
Good.
the stuff in like August when they have like their finals.
Hmm. Oh
We'll
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
be at
sure.
those. Like we'll be at those ones for sure. Like the Super Bowl, whatever that you call it for this thing. We'll be at a lot of those events. So we're pretty much man, I'm just trying to keep my hands around this thing right now. We're kind of everywhere right now, doing everything, and just
Yeah.
the
Well,
whole shooting line is like a whole other business, man. Like it's remarkable what God's done through me in the last 2 years or 3 years, with Tricer and just the things that come in my head. And I am so humbled to have created this stuff this year and bring it out because I just know once people get it, it's just gonna make them better. And it's just this is just when I say it's gonna get worse, I mean it's a good thing, but it's just gonna get worse for me when it comes to time and flying and travel.
you're a
Right?
busy guy, man. You're
I'm
a busy
gone.
guy.
I'm
How many
gone.
days did you hunt last year total?
Oh, probably 80.
I know it was a lot.
Maybe. I mean, if you include like January, I could include January a lot. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I was taking a notebook for a long time. Then I lost the notebook around like mid October, and then I never picked it back up again, and I didn't write them down. But a
I
lot,
always
man.
say I'm gonna do that too, and
I
I never
did,
do.
dude. I did
I
so
started
good.
taking notes on my phone in the
I
notes thing.
I have notes on my phone that I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
lost the book, and then I found the book, and I never filled the book out. But I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
days. I mean, it was. I'm out a lot, and that doesn't include just trips and travel and other things I'm doing too, right? Like
Sure.
shows and archery events, and oh yeah, and we'll be at the Bow Disciples event in May as well.
Cool.
So if
Very
you're in
good.
San Diego, come see me at the Bow Disciples event where we have a tent there. I think it's May like 17th, 18th, 19th, something like that. I'm off the top of my head, and that's a super fun event. Like it's like a more mellow tack. I think there's 3 courses. Treasure sponsored a course. We'll all be camping. All the truck up there will be camping up there at that thing, and just bonfires and bands and just a real laid back San Diego style archery
Nice.
event. So I think it's
Yeah.
almost sold out. So if you're listening to this, like get online and get your Bow Disciples tickets now and
Cool.
go see us up there. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's it, man. Tricer, new stuff every day.
Every day. I get text messages from Drew or phone calls that are like, "Hey, you're not going to believe this." And he'll start telling me about something and I'm like, "God, I don't know how you fit the time in to even think about stuff, but it's always
Yeah,
there."
it's
So,
always there, man. It's always coming.
well, I would say try to throw those dates up on the website so that way when people they at least know where they can go find you.
We should. We should. I won't be at some of those events. I'm trying to scale back a little bit. We're hiring a few
Yeah.
more people at Tricer. I'm trying to stay married and just be a good dad too. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of
Well,
picking and
that's
choosing. I'll
tricky.
be at a lot of them. I'll be at a lot of the events. I won't be at the Colorado one. I'll be in Hawaii for a month with my family,
Yeah.
chasing axis deer. Again, cool shot on the roll. When people complain, must be nice. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is
Not going to
nice.
deny it, right?
It's
It's
hard to deny. It really is nice spending a month glassing for sheep and prototyping new products and
yeah.
chasing sheep with my bow. It really is nice. Can't complain about that. So yeah,
Cool.
man,
Well,
living the
Drew,
dream,
let's do this once a quarter or whatever, or
dude. We need to.
every 6 months. Just kind of do a Tricer update. I think it's a good show. People like to hear it.
Yeah, man. I think we definitely need to, and I definitely have some really cool stuff in the works cooking right now for tripods this fall that I'm hoping to have out by September. That I got to really start
Hmm.
cracking on. Like once I
Yeah,
get these pretty much finalized, which I almost have them finalized, we're gonna start working on those. So
yeah,
they might or
good.
might not have J Scott's signature on one of them.
Uh oh,
Might
uh
or may
oh.
not be making a J Scott signature series
No,
tripod.
no confirmations, but little
No
hints, right?
confirmation, little hints that I've
That's
got
that'll be a seller too,
the
no
best
doubt.
the best glasser in the world might be collaborating with me to make a tripod. So
That's freaking cool. Very cool.
yep.
Okay, that's it. Go look at Tricer. Look at the website. Tons of gear out there. The RP is pre-order on the website.
Everything's pretty on
Um,
the website right now.
Everything's pre-order, except I mean, obviously the older stuff is in stock and you can buy it.
Yeah,
So
360 is in stock now. You can buy a 360 right now. I'll ship it to you 149. It's in
well,
stock and shipping.
that's a smoking deal for that thing.
Is
That
it?
really is a cool piece of gear.
Yeah, I get told often I underprice things, but I want people to be able to afford it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I'd rather have you afford it and I'll sell 2 of them instead of 1 of them or something.
yeah. Right on.
Awesome. Thanks, dude. Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Later, man.
Goodbye.